Good morning. Today in Foundations 30, we're going to do a little more work in section 1.5, those investments that involve regular payments. And if you recall us discussing yesterday, if we have something that involves regular payments, that's where we're going to need to use the app on the graphing calculator. So the two examples below are going to go through and use that graphing calculator again. And if you've forgotten how to use the graphing calculator, we will go into it. What makes this a graphing calculator question, we'll see as we read through the question. It says Jeremiah deposits $750 into an investment account at the end of every 3 months. It says interest is compounded quarterly, the term is 3 years, and the future value is $10,059.07. And they're asking this time, what's the annual interest rate does Jeremiah's investment earn? So first of all, we see that regular, whoa, that's not very straight. We see that regular payment right here at the end of every 3 months. And so that there is what tells us that we're going to have a regular payment, and that's when we have to use the graphing calculator. So right away, what I'm going to do is set up my variables for the graphing calculator. Again, I said yesterday, you're going to get used to the order of these variables that we have to submit numbers for on the graphing calculator. And I'm just going to quickly write them down. And we'll review again what all of them mean. And so this time around, the annual interest rate is what we're asked to find. So this is I. And because the calculator doesn't allow us to leave any blanks, there has to be a number there. I always put 0 to hold a place, but this is my way of saying that this is what I'm asked to find. So let's go through the rest of the information. The fact that we are making a $750 payment at the end of every 3 months means my payment, again, is still going to be negative $750. Now, at the end of every 3 months, if we're making it every 3 months, that means that there's going to be 4 payments per year. And that's important that we tie that back to N, which is the number of payments. If you're making 4 payments per year over a span of 3 years, you are going to be making 12 payments in all. Now, keep in mind, present value, these investment accounts, when you open them up, they have nothing in them. So we're starting at $0. This time around, they are telling us what the future value is, and that is the $10,059.07. So the only thing left is the compounding per year, the interest rate. It doesn't, oh, there it is. It's compounded quarterly. So again, that is 4 times per year. So I'm going to put my numbers into the graphing calculator, and we'll see what we're going to get for that interest rate. So bringing up my calculator. Again, how do we find the financial stuff? We're going to go into apps again. Number 1 says finance. And number 1 again says TVM solver. Those are the ones that we're going to do. Now, these are my numbers from a question yesterday. So I'm just going to rewrite over top of them that we have this time 12 payments. The interest rate is what we don't know. I'm leaving that as a 0 to hold a spot for it. Present value, we start with 0. Payments in our case was $750. And again, those payments are always negative. Future value is what we get to take home. So this time, this future value is going to be positive, the $10,059.07. And this account, we were making 4 payments per year, and the compounding, now you're going to have to watch that. We've been lucky that it's been the same. It will automatically populate the same number. Some questions we may end up having different payments and compounding per year. So we'll have to be careful. And again, we're leaving that payment at the end of every payment period. So this part is not going to change. So we have all of our numbers. We're going to go back to the variable we were asked to find, the interest. And remember that we have to hit alpha and enter in order to get our answer, which the interest rate as a percent is 8%. So I'm going to go back and just fill that in. So what we found as an answer was 8%. Now keep in mind, this is automatically going to be 8% per year. That is an annual interest rate, and that's what they were asking for. And so that is what the calculator will always give us. So just keep in mind to get your missing value, you have to hit alpha enter. So we need to put cursor on the missing value on our unknown where we have that 0. And then you're going to hit alpha and enter to get your final answer. So just a couple of things. So what you're going to see with the example here that we just did and the next one is that we're not always going to be finding the future value. In this particular case, they were asking about the interest instead. And so that concludes that question. Let's take a look at one more for today. This one says, on Lewis's 20th birthday, he started making regular $100 payments. So again, that regular $100 payments, sorry, $1,000 payments is our clue that we are going to use the graphing calculator. So he's putting these regular $1,000 payments into an investment account at the end of every 6 months. He wants to save for a down payment on a home. His investment earns 3.5% compounded semi-annually, and they're asking us at what age will he have more than $18,000? So again, because it's a regular payment type of account, I'm going to write down my variables. Then we'll put in all the numbers we do know before we go to the calculator. All right. So the $1,000 payments, he's making a payment every, what did it say, 6 months, but he's taking out of his regular bank account and putting in $1,000. Every 6 months means that he's making payments twice a year. Now, normally I would jump right away to N, the number of payments in total, but we don't know how many payments he's making. This is the part that we're going to leave as our unknown. They tell us that this account is 3.5% compounded semi-annually, so I can put compounding per year is 2. We start our account always at 0 when we open up these investment accounts, but this time we want a future value of $18,000. So when we go in, we're going to be solving for N out of our calculator, and we'll talk about what that N means. So I'm just going to bring up the calculator so we can change our numbers here. All right, let's go back to the top. We didn't know N, so that's where I'm leaving my 0. The interest rate for this account was 3.5%. Payments or present value starting at 0. Negative $1,000 is our payment. This time the future value we want to end at $18,000. When we make payments, they're twice a year and it's being compounded again twice a year. So now that I have all my details, going back to N, and remember again, it's alpha, enter to get my my N value or whatever I'm looking for. Now, this gives us a decimal, 15.78 approximately. I'm going to keep that number in mind, and I'm going to go back here. It said 15.78, and this is payments. Now, we're not going to make a partial payment. So what we're going to do is we're always going to round this up to 16 payments. Now, that isn't what they were asking specifically either. They want to know at what age will Lewis have his money of $18,000. So 16 payments in this case means it's going to take him 8 years. He makes 2 payments per year. Keep in mind, it's 2 payments per year. So that means that it will take him 8 years. So in the end, Lewis will be 8 years older. So he will be 28 years old, which is what they were asking us to answer in this particular question. So just to make note, when you are solving for n, it doesn't matter whether it number is a decimal. We always round up. When we round down, if it would have been 15.07, let's say, it still wouldn't have been enough for 15 payments. We always have to round up to the next payment to make sure that we are going to reach our goal of, in this case, $18,000. We may have more by the time that 16th payment comes around, or the full 8 years, but we want to make sure that we have more, not less. And so that's what you're going to be working on to finish up section 1.5 today, is just some more questions with the graphing calculator, regular payments, finding different variables other than just future value. So if that's all, have a good day.